is a pretty horse, but she's a BLM Mustang. By way of example, you can see the difference to look at her between this one, the rest of them, and that one.
So Sean, wait a minute. I want to make sure I understand. Here you got the. So you say Southern herd? You're talking about hundreds of years ago.
These are Trail Cheers horses.
These are.
They came from Alabama.
Indigenous to this area.
Correct. And there's a paper.
And then you've got other horses here indigenous to other parts of the country?
Yeah, we have picked the most primitive DNA of all the herds that are left. So this is the DNA pool for the whole world. With great particularity. Yeah, we're working with all the preservation groups around the country. And we've picked the most primitive lines that everybody's got. So
I knew you were involved in horse. I thought you were just doing a rescue.
No. This is all. These are rescued in the sense that many of them need it, but there's one with one blue eye, one brown eye. But no, these are the most primitive. This is an example. There's no place like this in the world. These are the original Trail Cheers horses.
They're also.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to identify and preserve the last of the Native American horse. That's what we're really doing. Okay, well that's indication of how primitive the blood is. These are the original indigenous horses in America. That's my wife's PhD. These guys survived the Ice Age. Oh, I mean, in the whole world there's less than 1,000. Of these lines, there's maybe just a few. I mean, just a handful. So, looking like him, there's one. His mom and him. I guess there's two. His mom looks like him too. He's the only stallion. And my wife's doing her PhD on the subject with the University of Fairbanks, Alaska. And so we've traveled the United States and Canada to identify, both from Western sources, meaning government, nonprofit, state, and historical sources, the last of these herds. At the end of it, the ones that moved early could take their horses. And the Civil War came here, like you had a Civil War over there, same thing we had here. And then the North that came in and they just took all the horses for the war, so they all went extinct here. And then they just got mixed up, in the war. We've also used tribal oral history and oral traditions. So the friends of ours, elders, if we know them well enough, will tell us there's a few here, there's a few there.
That's a bull. That's the dad and all the rest of
Sean, what's wrong with these ears over there?
Oh, that's a mare, and they got frozen in a storm in Canada when she was born. The tips froze off.
What happened?
A lot of these are from Canada. The tips of her ears froze off when she was born in Canada. See the tips of the ears?
You guys got transferred? Like, did you just transport the dog?
These horses have come from Canada and all over America and Mexico. Yeah,
How do you transport?
Pay $1,000 or $1,500, and they put them in a truck, and they
do it.
Or most of them came from us because we don't like to move them alone. So we usually move them. They freak out if you move them one at a time. So we try to avoid it at all costs. So we usually drive ourselves and get them if we can. The ones from Canada we brought in. We had them shipped over the border, but everybody else we pretty much got ourselves. We pick them up. Some of them I caught in the mountains, different places. If I'm working with the local Indians, there's some herds that I know and I help catch some. But I won't catch them if they have a place to go. I only catch them if they don't have a place to go. But the Curlies are much bigger horses. But to give you an idea, that's a $10,000. We won't sell a horse, but if we did, those babies are $10,000. Why won't we sell them? Because they're so rare and people want them.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they're bigger horses. They're more. There's almost no leopard spot. That dad is one of two in the world. Him and his brother.
This one?
Mm-hmm. Two in the world.
Two in the world.
Two in the world. Yeah, leopard spot Appaloosa Curly. We also use prayer and get guided to where they are, and so out of that we've assembled the herd we have now, and the goal is to have the best representation genetically of all the last of the native horses in one place, so that the world can see them all in one place, and also so that we have a gene pool which will allow them to survive into the future. That's why we don't sell horses, because there's so few left that if we sell them, then people can just take them out of commission. They don't breed. There's not enough left.
Pretty cool.
Now these are disconnected to your hands like that, because if you try to stick them out real fast, they'll get moving. Lavender, come here.
Hey guys.
Now this is one that came to the festival. Do you remember? This one, oh, when they get together into new groups, sometimes they have a virus like warts on their nose, and that goes away in about 4 weeks. And even the vet said, don't bother treating it because it's just going to go away.
The problem is right now with the herds that become isolated, and then there is starting to be some genetic issues, if not showing up now, that will show up in generations to come. And so the hope for the future is that there's enough left that's diverse that we won't have those issues if the various lines can be crossbred. So we do that naturally, don't do it artificially anymore. Well, anyway, his great-grandsons came down and helped us build this.
Okay. Nana, come.
Yeah, it was sent down by the elders
Can
to
you
come down
just
and do
leave
it.
it like that?
So-
Or
Yeah, you're looking at history here. They wouldn't be here. See this horse here with the swoopy back?
Yeah.
So I got her from the BLM. You see the tattoo, the concentration camp tattoo?
Yeah.
So she came from the BLM. She's a sulfur horse. There's one herd they have in Utah, which is these original Pliocene horses. And so she's super friendly now. When she first saw us, she'd run as far away as she could from a person. But that sway back is not a deformity. That's from the helicopters chasing them off. The herds in winter. It's harassing them, so they couldn't get enough nutrition. So that's a birth defect. It's not a genetic. So she has the most gorgeous babies. Absolutely stunning babies. And she's super sweet. It's all stripes. European first contact stories. I'm talking 15, 20.
Bobby,
early stuff.
You like the
Early stuff from the Spanish, the Portuguese. You think
some of them were here?
No, they say they were. This is their first European contact with the Americans. That's Eyes of Heaven. These are two Nakotas. So these are sulfur horses. I know it's moving to you, but we don't have any sulfur stallion. We've mixed the sulfurs among the different herds, but you got all stripes. Yeah. These are all from the BLM.
Hey guys, let's go over here. I mean, they're coming to see us again.
We have all that to fly buffalo, but that's how you keep buffalo happy.
I'm blown away, man, how gentle these horses are.
There's 3 feet of stone underneath the ground. So there's no concrete in there. That's all put in with pressure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you say they're 3 feet in the ground?
3 feet underneath it. Yeah, solid stone. That was just me being whimsical. Those 4 originals, they survived the slaughter. We're kind of like, everybody's got a story, boy. They're all survivors. Everything we have here is the last of
you wouldn't come to me.
the last of the ones that didn't get slaughtered. Well, we've been on this now for about 8 years in terms of research and starting to gather. We bought this place about 5 years ago now, 4.5 years ago, so we've been working on this particular location since. But what makes this location particularly important to me is that my ancestors were here before the Trail of Tears. This used to be the 1806 Congressional Reservation, which was the first reservation for the Cherokee, the first federal reservation. So my ancestors were number 7 on the rolls of that reservation. So part of our land here is on that reservation. And so I can walk the creeks, I can walk the property, and I can find my ancestors' arrowheads and bowls and pottery pieces all over. And I know that historically they walked here and these horses walked here. So they've come home. Those horses we have here that came from Oklahoma, that were the last of the Trail of Tears horses, have come home. They were from Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, and Mississippi. That is the predominant recorded story.
Okay.
But we're finding, in part of our PhD research, we're finding a lot of European first contact stories. They're talking 15, 20, early stuff. Early stuff from the Spanish, the Portuguese.
You think some of them were here?
No, they say they were. This is their first European contact with the Americans. They recorded them as being bloody horses and everything. That's Isaac Evans. These are tunic coats. We don't have any stuff, so these are stallion. We mix the suffers and then the different types. So you call it stripes. This is from these are all from the BLM. We did. My wife knows the fruit. I'm gonna put this nice. My wife is really good. That's what we're doing, and we're building a museum here for the purpose of educating the youth and everyone really about the true history of these animals and their importance to the various native peoples and the history of our country.